We in the World Health Organization do not advocate lockdowns as a primary means of control of this virus. The only time we believe a lockdown is justified is to buy you time to reorganize, regroup, rebalance your resources, protect your health workers who are exhausted. But by and large, we'd rather not do it. And so we really do appeal to all world leaders. Stop using lockdown as your primary control method. Develop better systems for doing it. Work together and learn from each other. But remember, lockdowns just have one consequence that you must never, ever belittle, and that is making poor people an awful lot poorer.
I don't know if this is genuine. I've no way of knowing if it's genuine. But it's said to be an email from a committee member within the Liberal Party of Canada who claims to sit within several committee groups. And it says this information is originating from what he calls the Strategic Planning Committee, which he says is steered by the Prime Minister's office, Trudeau. And he says, or she says, that they've come out because what they've learned about this sequence to come is so horrific that people need to know about it. So let's go through it. They call it the roadmap, and it's as follows. Phase in secondary lockdown restrictions on a rolling basis, starting with major metropolitan areas first and expanding outward, expected, he says, by November 2020.
And that is why I am declaring a state of public health emergency in Alberta. That's why, effective immediately, no indoor social gatherings will be permitted in any setting.
Today, I am putting in place new provincial health officer orders for all individuals, places of work, and businesses in communities within the Vancouver Coastal and Fraser Health regions.
Today we're announcing updated public health orders that will come into effect November 20. The orders will further limit social contacts and the operation of non-essential businesses.
Effective Monday, November 23rd at 12:01 a.m., Toronto and Peel will be moved into lockdown.
Rush the acquisition or construction of isolation facilities across every province and territory, expected by December 2020, according to this.
In the last 24 hours, nearly 400 people tested positive for COVID in Peel region. And as that number continues to rise, residents here will soon have access to an isolation center.
An undisclosed facility is being set up with the federal government.
According to the Public Health Agency of Canada, there are 11 designated hotel quarantine sites across the country.
Next one, daily new cases of COVID-19 will surge beyond the capacity of testing, including increases in COVID-related deaths following the same growth curves, expected by the end of November 2020.
It's been weeks since Canada's hardest hit provinces tightened up measures to try to curb the spread of COVID-19. But the virus is still running rampant. Take a look at the rate of infection over the last 7 days across the country. Alberta shows the biggest concern. Its rate is more than twice as high as Quebec and over 3 times higher than Ontario.
Right now, there is still a crisis unfolding, especially in Alberta. Today, that province broke another daily record.
Now, British Columbia is also seeing a dramatic jump in cases.
We're following breaking news out of Ontario this morning. The province has smashed its record for daily COVID-19 cases.
Manitoba is also seeing huge numbers. The province shattered its daily record yesterday.
Complete and total secondary lockdown, much stricter than the first. And second phase restrictions expected by the end of December 2020, early January 2021.
I'm announcing today that Ontario will enter a province-wide shutdown starting at 12:01 a.m. on December 26.
Reform and expansion of the unemployment program to be transitioned into a universal basic income program.
It's happening.
2021. Oh, it's happening.
It's happening.
It's in my book that was published in August, The Answer, all about this. But my books from decades past have been pointing out that the plan is to create a guaranteed basic income scam. And this is how it works. The idea is that you destroy the jobs and the independent livelihood potential And you're also destroying jobs on a monumental scale by replacing people with AI. In the same period, it's all going on at the same time. So people say, well, how are we going to survive? So what the government says then, it's all in my books years ago, it's all talk about deja bloody vu. And they say, well, we're going to give you a guaranteed income because we're nice people. Who cares? So what we're going to do is we're going to give you a pittance to live off. But there are little few patches. Now, when I come to this, one of the lines in this list, I mean, it's like absolutely right. As I've been saying all these years, the plan is that there will be conditions. You'll get the basic income, pittance, but only if you do what you're told.
Right.
And we can see examples of that, like in Australia, where they've been running this program with vaccinations. If you don't have your child, if you're on state benefits and you don't have your child vaccinated according to the list demanded by the government, then they cut your benefits.
We can't force someone to take a vaccine. That's clear. And because we want to make sure that people say they only would want it. And we want to make sure we have all the information they need, as well as all the safety information, etc. What we can do is to say sometimes for access or ease in getting into certain settings, if you don't have vaccination, then you're not allowed into that setting.
I don't know why I bring all these papers. I never look at them.
Oh, when you're giving numbers, I do. I go, Sorry, did you really do that?
I just say whatever they write down for me.
That's why you're guessing.
Projected COVID-19 mutation and or co-infection with secondary virus referred to as COVID-21, leading to a third wave with much higher mortality rate and higher rates of infection, expected February 2021, according to this list. But like I say, I'm going with the list. The time scale may be a bit different, we'll see. But again, go back to the spring and interviews I did. I said, watch for them saying that this virus is mutating.
In Ontario, 2 people have tested positive for that new, more contagious strain of the virus, which was first detected in the UK, and officials don't know how they got it.